So in today's session, we will start with the fluid kinematics, that is the second unit of fluid mechanics. So we have already completed the properties of fluids and fluid statics part. So what is kinematics actually? Right? So fluid kinematics, which deals with the properties of fluids which are in the motion. So what is basically kinematics? Kinematics is the branch of science which deals with the motion of the particles. That means it deals with the properties of particles which are in the motion. So fluid kinematics is the study of properties of fluid which are in the motion. So in this topic we will learn how fluids flow and how to define its motion and how to find out their properties according to their change in motion. So these are the topics we will deal in this particular unit. So what are the methods in this approach? So in fluid kinematics basically we have two approaches. One is Lagrangian approach and the second one is Eulerian approach. These are the two approaches which we have described by the two scientists. So the first one is Lagrangian approach. So in Lagrangian approach, consider a fluid flow. So in that fluid flow, we will select a particle. So we will study the properties of that particle in its entire motion. So throughout its motion, we will consider that particular particle only. So we will calculate the density, pressure, velocity for that particle throughout its entire motion. This type of approach is called as Lagrangian approach by considering the fluid particle in its entire motion. So what about the Eulerian approach? So Eulerian approach is nothing but consider a fluid flow. So in that fluid flow, we will select a particular point. So at that point, we will calculate the fluid properties. So see here, in Eulerian approach, the properties of fluid are described at a point in a flow field. So the Eulerian approach is most commonly used method in fluid mechanics. Why? Because if you consider the particle only, what about the other particles? Based upon the time and based upon the position, the properties may vary, right? So we have to consider a particular point, so you can know how many particles are moving through that position and what are their properties. What is the flow actually at that point? If you want to consider another point, you can consider. So Eulerian approach is most preferable method in fluid mechanics for analyzing the fluid properties. Right, so these are the two different approaches in analyzing the fluid motion. Right? So what are the different types of flows actually? Fluid flow is classified as the steady flow and unsteady flow. Second one, uniform and non-uniform flow. And the third one, laminar flow and turbulent flow. Fourth one, compressible and incompressible flow. The fifth one, rotational flow and irrotational flow. And the last one, one-dimensional, two-dimensional and three-dimensional flow. So these are the classification of fluid flows, right? Based upon the change in their properties according to the time and according to the position, the type of flow may vary. So we will discuss in depth about these types. right? So the first one is steady and unsteady flow. So what is a steady flow actually? Take a pipeline. When the flow is called as steady flow. So the steady flow is defined as a flow in which the properties like pressure, density and velocity does not change with time. So if time changes, these properties will not change in the particular pipe section, particular flow. That type of flow is called as steady flow. Right here, the properties like density, velocity and pressure are constant with respect to time. They will not change actually. What about the unsteady flow? The unsteady flow is defined as quite opposite to that. Unsteady flow is defined as the flow in which the properties will change with respect to time. So if time changes, it shifted from 1 minute to 3 minutes. So if you have considered at 1 minute, the properties might be different, and if you have considered at 3 minutes, the properties might be different. So here the point is the properties of flow are changing with respect to time. So that particular flow is called as unsteady flow. See the next one. What is uniform flow and what is non-uniform flow? See here, what is uniform flow? Uniform flow is a type of flow in which the velocity of the flow will not change with respect to the space. That means if the cross section of the pipe has changed from one end to the other end, but the velocity of the fluid which is flowing inside the pipe will not change with respect to time. That type of flow is called as uniform flow. So the velocity is equal throughout the pipe section. So the point is the velocity of the flow will not change with respect to time in a given space. So if the cross section changes but the properties like velocity will not change, it is called as uniform flow. What about the non-uniform flow? See, the condition is there for a uniform flow. Dou V by dou S is equal to 0. That means it is constant with respect to the space. So it is quite opposite, the non-uniform flow is. So the non-uniform flow is a type of flow in which the velocity at a given time will change with respect to the shape, with respect to the space. That means if the cross section of pipe changed at one end to the other end, the velocity at a given point of time will change from this end to that end. See here, the velocity is not constant throughout the pipe section because the space of the pipe is changed. That means the length of the cross section, that means the length or width or depth, cross section has changed, right? So according to the space coordinates, the velocity is not constant. This type of flow is called as non-uniform flow, right? So this is the condition for that. Dou V by dou S is not equal to 0. That means it is not constant. Clear? So what about the next one? See here, laminar and turbulent flow. You can see the diagram over there. What is the laminar flow actually? Laminar flow. You can see the laminar flow in case of a sinks. That means when you are washing your hands, you can turn the tap in 5-star hotels or in restaurants. You can see the sinks over there for hand wash. You can see that pipe, throughout the pipe, a clear line of water is coming. You can observe the type of flow is there, that is a laminar flow actually. You can see a filter which is attached to the pipe to generate the laminar flow. So what is a laminar flow actually? So the laminar flow is a type of flow in which the fluid particles will follow a specified path or a specified streamlines. So each specified path will be on their own path. That means there is no merging between the two paths. So the fluid particles does not coincide beyond their paths. So this is a laminar flow actually. You can see a parallel streamlines over there. The fluids are flowing in a parallel streamlines. So each and every streamline will not coincide at any point. That type of flow is called as laminar flow. Right? So what about the turbulent flow? You can see the turbulent flow is a type of flow in which the fluid particles flowing in a specified paths which are interacting with each other, which are merging with each other. So here you can see the streamlines are converging one over the other. You can see some turbulence over there. Right? So that type of disturbance and that type of intermixing of the streamlines one over the other is called as, the flow is called as turbulent flow. So to differentiate the streamline flow and turbulent flow, we have a specified formula. So the formula is introduced by Mr. Reynolds. Based upon his name, that number is called as Reynolds number. So Reynolds number will gives you the idea to differentiate which one is a laminar flow and which one is a turbulent flow. Right? So Reynolds number is used to differentiate the laminar flow and turbulent flow. Right? So it is basically a non-dimensional number denoted by capital R. You can denote it with capital R. So the formula for Reynolds number is Vd by nu. Here the V is equal to velocity of the flow, d is the diameter of the pipe section, and nu is the kinematic viscosity of water. Right? So what about the limits? So if the Reynolds number is less than 2000, you can say that it is a laminar flow. So if the Reynolds number is greater than 4000, you can say that it is turbulent flow. Sir, what about it is lies between 2000 and 4000? Yes, if it lies between 2000 and 4000, you can say that the flow is whether laminar or might be laminar or might be turbulence. It consists of both type of flows, partly laminar and partly turbulent flow. Clear? This is about the Reynolds number which differentiates the two flows, which is laminar and turbulent flow. So next one, what is a compressible flow and what is an incompressible flow? Know that our liquids are generally incompressible. You can take a syringe and fill water in it and close the entry nozzle with your finger and press the nozzle at the other end. You cannot compress the fluid inside, you cannot compress the liquid inside the syringe. Basically most of the liquids, that means our liquids like water, are generally incompressible in nature, but gases are compressible. You can compress the gas, right? So see here, what is a compressible flow and what is an incompressible flow. So see, compressible flow is a type of flow in which the density changes from point to point. Best example is a gas. Gas density will changes from point to point actually. So basically gases are compressible. You can compress the gas. So when you are compressing, the densities might be changes. Right? So compressible flow is a type of flow in which the density changes from point to point. Here the density is not constant in compressible flow. Right? And what is about the incompressible flow? In incompressible flow, the density is equal at all points. Right? It is a type of flow in which the density is constant for the entire fluid flow. Wherever you calculate, the density will be same. So for a best example is water. Right? Wherever you calculate in a pipe flow, the density of water is same. It is 1000 kg per meter cube. But if you calculate the density for gas at different points based upon the based upon the shape and based upon the surrounding parameters, the densities might vary. Right? So this is about the compressible and incompressible flows. So what about the rotational flow and what about the irrotational flow? The next one. So rotational flow. Rotational flow is a type of flow in which the fluid particles rotate about their own axis. So the streamline or the path which they are flowing, the particles will rotate about their own axis and they will travel throughout the entire motion. If they rotate about their own axis, the type of flow is called as rotational flow. Right? What about the irrotational flow? The particles will not rotate their own axis, will not rotate about their own axis in a specified paths. So entire the fluid motion, the fluid particles will not rotate about their own axis. Right? Whatever the fluid particle it may be, they will travel as it is throughout their entire motion. They will not rotate. If the rotation is not there in the fluid flow between the particles, that type of flow is called as irrotational flow. Right? See, what about the one-dimensional, two-dimensional and three-dimensional flows? Simple. So here we are talking about the fluid flow. The main parameter we will consider is velocity. Velocity, which is a function of with respect to time. Right? So what about the velocity? If you consider a one direction only, either x, either y or either z, in any one direction only, that is one dimensional flow. Best example is a pipe section. In pipe section, the fluid follows only the horizontal direction, right, or vertical direction, or the fluid can flow in a single direction only, either x or either y. If it is horizontal, you consider as x direction. If it is vertical pipeline, you consider it as y direction. It is a type of flow in which the velocity is a function of time with a single direction only. That means in x direction only, or in y direction only, or in z direction only. Any one direction only. Right? So here you can see the equation u is equal to, u means velocity is equal to f of x. If you considered x direction, the remaining other are 0, y is 0, that means v, velocity in y direction is 0, velocity in w direction, z direction is 0. Clear? What about the two-dimensional flow? So two-dimensional flow is a type of flow in which the velocity is a function of time with respect to the two space coordinates, any two coordinates, either xy or yz or zx. So when you are considering the two directions, the third direction will be 0. Right? See here the equation is u, velocity is a function of, right, is a function of time. The directions are u is equal to f1 of x comma y. Here the directions are x and y. See, and the next one, v is equal to f2 of x and y. So here you are considering the both x and y directions. That's why velocity in x direction u is there, velocity in y direction v is there, but there is not w. W is equal to 0. That means the velocity in z direction is 0. That is the reason there is no combination with this. Velocity combinations are not there with the z axis. So what about the three-dimensional flow? Simple. Just now we have considered two axes, x and y, or yz or zx. So in three-dimensional flow, the velocity is a function of time with respect to the all three space coordinates. That means you will consider the velocity along x, velocity along y and velocity along z. So here the velocity is a combination, is a function of x, y, z. So u is equal to f1 of xyz, v is equal to f2 of xyz, w is equal to f3 of xyz. So here the velocity is a function of all the three space coordinates with respect to time, right? So this is about the one dimensional, two dimensional and three dimensional.